I was wrong about the MacBook Neo. Straight up. I feel like some of my, or part of my responsibility when it comes to doing content like this is that I need to just call balls and strikes as I see it, and not everything needs my personal, anecdotal evidence or opinion or experience or whatever. Sometimes we just need to call it what it is. And I've had this MacBook Neo for 2 weeks now as of recording this. And here's the deal. I was hesitant on getting the Neo at all because of the RAM limitation. I've talked about how I'm a music producer, how I write, produce, release music as a singer-songwriter and as just a producer. And I had very big reservations about 8 gigs of RAM on a Mac OS device. And that's what I was wrong about, because this thing handled some of my most intense projects that I've made in the past. I loaded it onto this device, the project files in Logic. I opened it, I ran it, and not once did I ever go into the red when it came to the RAM pressure, when it came to buffering and playing all these multi-tracks simultaneously. At no point did I hit any issues with this device, which blew my freaking mind. Because also, while I was doing that, I'm full transparency now, the last couple of videos I've put out over the last 2 weeks now were all edited on this thing. And I knew it was gonna handle it well, not because other YouTubers did it, but because Final Cut in video editing is not RAM heavy. It's just not. It's GPU heavy, but that's where, as I've said in other videos in the past, the type of content I make is this. I film off of my iPhone. It's very simple stuff. I'm not doing multi-million-dollar productions. I don't have a studio. I don't have a staff. It's just me. So no, I did not have any issues when it came to editing any YouTube content on this, or even my YouTube Shorts / Instagram Reels. My hesitation was always going to be within Logic, because that is RAM focused and RAM heavy. And so I put it through its paces. And of course, for all the day-to-day stuff, social media, email, messaging, you name it, this is a beast. It's perfect. But Logic? And the stuff that I do at my skill set level, I'm no expert. I am not a professional. I wouldn't proclaim that like I should be working at Warner Brothers Studios or Sony Record, any of these big conglomerates when it comes to music. I'm not saying that, but I'm also not doing the bare basics. I'm not just doing stock plug-in loops to make a beat. I write the music itself. I have these peripherals that I connect up, and I record my guitars, piano, vocals, and stuff on it. And it handled it fine. But here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you the negative up front. The 8 gigs of RAM still shows itself. Not in the production element of me working on a Logic file, but in the booting up apps and loading all the stuff that is on Logic, especially older project files that I've worked off of on my MacBook Pro. It takes a while for it to all load up. But you know what? I don't get the spinning ball still. None of that is an issue. Just I click on Logic, it bounces on the dock as it does, and it just waits. And it waits, but then I can be doing something else, or I just wait as well. It's okay to have patience. And then it loads the file, and it runs freaking smoothly. Like what? But the opening of the application, and specifically Logic, that is an issue. One that I'm not used to having, nor am I used to experiencing on my MacBook Pro that has 32 gigs of RAM. I have said in older videos that 32 gigs of RAM, I have come to learn, is overkill for the type of productions I work off of in Logic and Final Cut and anything else. So 8 gigs wasn't really necessarily an issue. Okay, fine. But it takes a second to load the app, whatever. That's a non-issue for me. I don't work on my Mac daily. It's just when I do, I work for very long periods at a time. So that's fine. I need RAM somewhere between 8, more than 8, less than 32, and that's where the MacBook Air still shines. Another reason why the MacBook Air still shines for me is because even though I got half a terabyte on there, I can see, and I just loaded under 10 project files that I've had in the past on this device, I can see the storage filling up very, very, very quickly on this device. And I wouldn't even say because of Logic, but also because just Final Cut. I do film in 4K, I do film in ProRes, and when all that is said and done, it takes up a lot of storage. It's just bigger files. That's the climate that I operate in. So half a terabyte, not enough. I need something more than half a terabyte. I've gotten by with 4 terabytes on my MacBook Pro, and out of the MacBook Pro, I've used 2 terabytes. I have 2 terabytes left. So would I just get 2 terabytes? No, because realistically, after I do my plugins and everything that has to do for Logic and other things, I think 4 terabytes is still fine, especially if I wanted a local backup storage system for offloading content on my phone or my iPad. So 4 terabytes, most likely. I mean, that's a problem for me to figure out later, but definitely more than 8 gigabytes. And yeah, listen, I don't really have negative things to say about this. The things that I thought was going to be an issue was the weaker keyboard. And I say weaker as in like the build quality. It's a non-issue. This, it types so good. It really is. It's amazing. It's great. So I do not have an issue with the keyboard itself. The backlit thing, I don't actually care because my MacBook Pro now is docked to my studio display in my office, and I use a wireless Touch ID Magic keyboard. And guess what? That keyboard doesn't have backlit keys, and I've never complained about that. So I don't really care. Is it nice to have? Absolutely. Is it nice to have the P3 color gamut instead of just sRG? Sure. I don't edit photos like that. I don't really do much color correction like that. And also, me being an iPad first user for all things, especially for creation, if I needed to get something more specific, I have a lot of applications that's on this thing that I am able to get more granular on. And the iPad Pro, in my not controversial take opinion, the iPad Pro is one of the best displays I ever worked off of. So if I needed to do anything that had to do with like accuracy and color, I would use my iPad or even my iPhone. The Mac has never been that for me. So I do not care about backlit keys. I do not care about True Tone or the color gamut. I don't care about any of that. I don't even care about the brightness of it because this is 500 nits brightness max, and that's the same as my M1 Pro MacBook Pro. So there's no difference there either. And I'm aware that the newer MacBook Pros go even brighter and have a higher sustained brightness, but I don't do that. And it's docked most of the time anyway. So I care more about the brightness I can get off of a studio display than my Mac. So those conveniences that come with getting a different tier MacBook do show and they do add up. But most of the time, you know, it's like this. Things that I do have concerns about are the ports. Not because it's USB 3 and 2 speeds, but strictly because it's just there's no fast charging. I don't care about the data transfer like that. Most of my things is wireless or cloud-based or airdropped based. So I really don't care about speeds, though I'm not a madman. It is very convenient to have good high speeds. And I do use it when I need to, especially if I airdrop with a wired plugged in there. It moves phenomenally quick. So but again, quality of life improvements, I don't care. I care about the charging speed. And this thing, because I did put it through its paces, like I said earlier, when I work off of a MacBook, on my Mac, I don't do it often, but when I do, it's for very long periods of time. Well, that means I eat through the battery very quickly. And when I have this plugged in, it's not really an issue, but I've used this most of the time everywhere but my desk because this thing is so light. It is so comfortable. I love the curvature that we have going on right there. And this is the most comfortable, lightest Mac I've ever felt used. I like the color, and it's damn powerful. Like, that's the part that literally blows my mind. I can't believe that it's that powerful. And yet, here we are. I was wrong. My hesitations were with RAM. It does show, but it doesn't stop me from working and doing my music. So, in fact, tell you what, if you want to see that song that I was working on in fuller detail, I will leave a link in the description. It's not a complete song. It's a demo I'm working on, but nonetheless, you can see what I was able to get done working off of this thing, which is incredible. So people have asked in the past about my music and stuff like that. So I will leave a link to all of that, my type of music, in the description if you're interested. But yeah, this Mac is amazing, but I'm not going to keep it because I do have other needs. If I wasn't working on music or doing Final Cut projects and stuff like that, there's no question about this. But the problem is, for me, I just need a little bit more. However, and this is a big however, we have seen efficiencies come out of RAM in macOS specifically where 8 gigs of RAM is not equal to 8 gigs of RAM on a Windows device. So with that, there is a future where I can see 8 gigs being treated more like 12 or 16 gigs of RAM, and there would be no issues just off of efficiencies in macOS like we've seen before in the past. And I believe it was on macOS Mavericks that we saw that type of improvement happen. I believe that would happen again. Furthermore, A19 Pro starts at 12 and really only 12 gigs of RAM. So there is still a potential of even better efficiencies with maybe opening up applications as heavy and intense as Logic or Final Cut or whatever. But for most people, in most cases, non-issues. I'm nitpicking just so I can give objective feedback. But now incorporating my opinion here, holy hell, I really want this device. If I could just maybe get a terabyte or something more, maybe there's a universe where I can see myself having more than one MacBook because one would be my workstation. If I had more than one Mac, like a Mac Mini or a Mac Studio would be overkill. But if I had a Mac Mini, that would be my workstation for all things Logic and Final Cut. And then literally everything else, I would use an A18 Pro MacBook Neo with 8 gigs of RAM and half a terabyte of storage, and I would be just fine. This is my new favorite device. I think this is device of the year so far for hardware, but John Turnus, you got more things up your sleeve to show us when it comes to iPhones later this year and redesigned touchscreen Macs. I can't wait to see what's about to happen because right now this is the one to beat, and this is probably the best device I've ever used for price perspectives, putting that in context. So yeah, I was wrong, and I'm glad I was wrong. I would use this device and have no issues. So good job, Apple. Anyone who's on the fence about getting this, don't. Pay a little extra and get the Touch ID. Have as much storage and future-proof it. And even if you're a creative who uses Final Cut or Logic, this does the trick, man. Crap. Holy hell, this does the trick. So yeah. I don't think that, clearly, not even close, I don't think there's a device better suited for most people than the MacBook Neo. So there you go.